you agree to—
Make new videos very soon.
I lied.
So it's been a minute. Originally I had a much more elaborate intro where I talked about the game industry and highlighting indie games, but I'm gonna keep it frank and beans with you. This took a while to come out, not because the video was difficult to make or anything like that, but because I did a stupid. I had another video that I originally wrote out a script, got pretty far in the editing process with, and came to the conclusion that it was quite bad. So instead I decided to enlist free labor to help me make this video. Or videos. That's right, this is a two-parter. Whoa! They did a really great job. It was their first time making a video, and let me just say, it was way better than whatever I made. Jesus. I'll attach their information to this video. The question remains, will there be new videos soon? No. Girl, I got 2 sets of midterms due this month, and that shit ain't gonna study for itself. There will definitely be at least 1 video, maybe 2 by the end of the year. They'll come out when they get made. Yeah, that's my quality guarantee. I hope you enjoy the video as much as I did making it. Like, subscribe, and buy gold. Yeah. In Fight Night, you play as the Fight Night. You journey to the Tower, a mystical structure that is said to move throughout the continent, consuming towns and those who enter. Yet legend also says that the tower has magical abilities, granting the wish of any person, should they climb to the tower's peak. Yet it is not wishes or glory that has brought us to this spire, for we are on a quest of our own. A quest of revenge. Within the tower lies its current ruler, your nemesis, Venom Snake. Prior to the events of this game, Big Boss cursed the Fight Night, rendering you unable to use any form of arms. For a weaker man, this would render our mission impossible. But luckily for us, this merely limits our homicidal tendencies. For you see, attached to our person is a pair of lethal weapons which the world has never seen. Toma and toes. We need not for swords and weapons, for I have dumped all my points into strength. We need only punch our way through any obstacle, just as Will Smith would have wanted. If you watched the trailer and went into Fight Night thinking that this was going to be a simple action game about punching things, you are a fool. May a plague of locusts swarm your house and consume all your silverware. Fight Night is a combination of a first-person puzzle dungeon crawler and a high-octane brawler. Throughout the game, you'll be exploring the tower, primarily solving puzzles while beating anyone who dares interrupt your game of Scrabble. The tower itself consists of many levels that are separated into floors. What the fuck? Each floor has its own color palette and theme, with a different assortment of puzzles and enemies. You've got sand, swamp, sewer, football, hockey. You know, the necessities of any good tower. The puzzles here are actually quite good. Each floor has a central gimmick to its puzzle that involves interacting with the environment in order to progress. The desert, for example, has these faces that sink you into the sand if they spot you, and cause me physical pain. While the swamp has blocks that you can move onto water in order to cross gaps. Each area does a great job at introducing the puzzle and evolving it over the course of the floor. The Colosseum, for example, immediately showcases the dual nature of the floor, switching actively between lava and ice. Lava isn't passable and can be treated as a wall, but switching to ice freezes over the lava lake, letting you glide right through. I think the game does a really good job at nailing that sweet spot. The puzzles aren't easy enough to breeze through, but they're not difficult enough to leave you stumped. Except for the desert. I hate the desert. If you do get lost, the game offers a variety of hint systems via robot seance or conveniently placed NPC They give you more of a clue of where to go and how to interact with the world. Best of all, exploring and completing the puzzles usually rewards you with new movesets and abilities, so it's always worth exploring a floor fully to fuel your violent tendencies. But Gibbo, I hear you say, I don't care about puzzles and dungeon crawling. I want to punch things. I want violence. Well, dear viewer, ask and you shall receive. Fight Night is called Fight Night. Let's get to the fighting. While traveling throughout the tower, you will inevitably stumble into one of many random encounters where you'll be forced to fight for your life. These can range from a lovely spar to getting jumped on the streets of Chicago. The combat takes place in long corridors where yourself and enemies fight head-on. Your main attack is the punch, which you can charge to deliver big blows or spam to keep enemies stunned in place. Moving while punching does a different move depending on the direction. Moving side to side will do a dodging punch, moving forwards does a powerful thrust attack, and moving backwards allows you to dodge into a strong uppercut. Even though we are all powerful, enemies can quickly overwhelm you if you don't take defensive maneuvers. Dodging is paramount to surviving. Blocking is also great, but doesn't negate all damage, but blocking at the last second parries the attack, leaving the enemy open to a punch in the abdomen. Parrying is the riskier option, but offers the greatest reward. And besides, adding a parry mechanic statistically makes the game better. Additionally, you have super moves. The blood of your victims charges your super meter, allowing you one of 3 moves that you handpick. You gain super moves from finding recipes throughout the dungeon. These range from my beloved 100-inch punch to the walking JoJo reference. There's even different outfits that change your moveset in fun ways. I won't get into the specifics of what each one does, but let it be known, I am the fastest hand in the West. At first glance it might seem complicated, but I promise you once you do a fight or two, it just clicks. With the exception of boss fights, the random encounters aren't designed to be overly punishing. In a way, they're more tests of endurance, whittling down your health before you're forced to retreat back to Big Papa to recover. Each floor has a different variety of enemies and new combinations that constantly change how you deal with them. This fish, for example, can only be hit with the correct directional attack, which means that spamming the punch button doesn't work like it would with a standard skeleton or mummy. Meanwhile, this grave robber is an asshole, and I hate him. There's such a variety that I figure it would be best to show you rather than blab about it. You have Bone Brothers, Notorious B.I.G., Lizzo, Indiana Jones, Another Crab's Treasure, Goblins, more Goblins, the local volleyball team, Bird and Goons, Football, and Killer Croc. You get the point. Fortunately, not everyone within the tower wants to see you dead. Only like 98% of them do. Throughout the tower, you'll meet a variety of different NPCs that offer insight on the tower and its denizens, while also serving as pleasant comedy relief. Really, the atmosphere of Fight Night reminds me most of Shovel Knight. All of its characters are these over-the-top caricatures that, while they are intentionally goofy, still manage to be endearing and memorable. There's characters like the Night Watch that you'll save throughout the tower, who each insist upon getting a good night's rest, despite, being Night's Watch, or the intrepid adventurer June, who is overly confident and oblivious to the dangers of the tower. Fight Night was a wonderful surprise to me. I was expecting it to be an arcadey beat-em-up focused on its action gameplay, and while it does certainly deliver on that premise, there is so much depth and detail in everything despite it being a game about punching things. I never expected that my favorite thing about Fight Night would not be its combat, but rather its world. I loved exploring, solving puzzles, and meeting new NPCs almost as much as I liked kicking goblins across the floor. That and the unique monochromatic art style paired with the stellar soundtrack kept me ensnared in the game longer than that damn desert did. Oh my god! Fight Night is a finely crafted experience. The combat is easy to learn but hard to master, the puzzles are expertly crafted, and the game oozes enough charm that it might be a hazard to my health. Like sand. If you want a zany beat 'em up or just something that's fun and charming, give Fight Night a try. Play Fight Night, or I will come to your house and unleash my ultimate Akuma combo on you. You have been warned.
Yada yada, it is good day to be not dead. Pow!
You are dead.
Endless Empty is a surreal turn-based RPG where you play as a character who has just taken their own life. The Endless Empty asks what the character of our mind looks like and what happens to them as we die. We play as a character named Static, both the literal interpretation of the fog within our brains and our archetypical selves. We adventure within the mind of Static, exploring the core characteristics of the person we once were while making choices that define who we become. In these areas, we explore different characteristics that define Static in their life. However, this information is given to us like puzzle pieces, forcing us to piece together and form our own image of Static. Throughout the game, we delve into Static's life and learn as someone who has entrenched themselves within these realms, which we learn had a big impact on Static's life. In these areas, we explore different characteristics that define Static in their life. However, this information is given to us like puzzle pieces, forcing us to piece together and form our own image of Static. Throughout the game, we delve into Static's mind and learn as someone who has entrenched themselves within these realms, which we learn had a big impact on Static's life. The game does have technical issues which pertains to audio in some areas being too high with no in-game volume settings, but it was never anything that infringed on the experience. The aspect of the project that stuck out to me was the ability to create a sense of familiarity with twisted amalgamations created with fragments of reality. The story is such a wonderful personal project that can be felt by just hearing the first notes of the soundtrack, which is made by the author of the game, Eric Sheeter Smith, who's part of an experimental music group called Sugary Sweet Machines, whose other member at the moment is Nash Allen. The soundtrack harmonizes with each environment to set the stage with experimental tracks that cover a spectrum of genres. The game is only $3.99 on Steam and is also available on itch.io, priced at whatever you price it at yourself. The sales of the game are donated to the Trevor Project, so please give it a shot.